Hello, 7th grade. Welcome to my first video for you guys. I've been trying to do it with a actual video of myself as well, but I keep running into problems, so I'm going to try doing it without that in this way and see if that works. So you're just going to have audio and then me typing some things. So I hope you guys were able to successfully set up your Quizlet accounts yesterday, your vocabs cards done. Today I'm going to go over the lesson that's connected with those. If you could start by going to page 135 in your purple books and reading that and all to the top of page 137. You can pause this video while you do that, and then I'll start. Okay, so today we're talking about direct reflexive pronouns. I would like you guys to be taking notes as we normally would in class. So you should have your notebook out. You should be following the notes here. So we're this page 130, 139. We're talking about reflexive pronouns. So we already know what a pronoun is, right? Pronouns replace nouns. And we've talked about the fact that the nouns they refer back to are called antecedents. The special type of pronouns we're talking about today are reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns. So you can actually hear in the word reflexive the word reflect, and that's basically what is key to these pronouns. They reflect back to the subject of the sentence. So these reflexive pronouns always include the word self in the pronoun. And a direct reflexive pronoun refers back to the subject of its own clause. That's very important. You need to know that definition, so I'd make sure that you have that definition down. It refers back to the subject of its own clause. Some examples of this, we've got the three persons. We got first person pronouns. So in English, the reflexive versions of those would be myself and ourselves. The second person reflexive pronouns would be yourself and yourselves. And the third person reflexive pronouns would be himself, herself, itself, and themselves. In Latin, we just want to talk about how these work in Latin. So for first person pronouns in Latin, you use the regular first person pronoun list. So ego, mei, me, me, vos, vestri, vestrum, vobis, vos, vobis. You use those just like you normally would. So we're talking about ego, mei, mihi, etc. An example of this would be if you were going to say, for example, I pray for myself. You would have ego for the I, and then pro, and you would just use pro me, oro. So ego, pro me, oro. So it looks like it's saying I pray for me, but the way that we would actually translate that is I pray for myself. Second person pronouns also use the regular second person pronoun list. So we're talking about tu, tui, tibi, te, te, vos, vestri, vestrum, vobis, vos, vobis. So for example, if we wanted to say you pray for yourself, we would translate that tu pro te oras. So we would use that normal tu, tui, tibi, te, te here, and that would be yourself. Now, third person is where it gets a little bit different. Here's where we have to use special reflexive pronouns. So this is where we actually have to learn some new stuff. So these work in your book. It tells you to look at grammar number 127. If you go there, what you'll find is this list. The nominative is blank. There is no reflexive nominative because you can't say the reflexive as the subject of the sentence. So you can't say myself did this. You have to say I did this. But we do have the other cases here. So we've got genitive would be sui, and that would be of himself, herself, itself, or themselves, of themselves. We've got the dative, which is sibi, and that's to, for, himself, herself, itself, or themselves. It covers all the genders, and both singular and plural are covered in the same word. We've also got the accusative, which is say, or it can also be say, and that is just himself, herself, itself, themselves. And then we've got the ablative, which is the same as the accusative. It's say and also say, and that's himself, or that's by, with, from, himself, herself, itself, themselves. So you can see that simple list of sui, sibi, say, and then the say additions, that covers all three genders, and it's both singular and plural. So if we wanted to say, for example, they pray for themselves, we would use the normal they, which is in this case, we probably let's just go with a masculine example. So ei pro se, or we could also say ei pro se orant. Okay, that's pretty much the reflexives. In a nutshell, if you have questions about those or you're confused, be sure to ask me. After you do exercise 153, you should be able to and post it back. I'll return your worksheet with an answer key. So you're gonna want to make sure that you recheck back what you sent me and then do your corrections on your own. I'm kind of leaving that up to you guys to correct your stuff on your own. One other thing for this lesson, we've got other new words. We've got atiam, adverb, which means also, and then we've got anim, which is a conjunction post-positive. So I want to talk real quick about what post-positive means. Post-positive, you can see in it the word post, which means after in Latin. Positive, think of as like the positively first thing. Post-positive means that this word must come after the first word or phrase of a clause. And so you would never start a sentence with anim. You would always say Cesar anim and then go on, or whatever the subject might be. Or if it's a prepositional phrase that starts off the sentence, propter vulnera anim, and then you go on. The meaning of this is for, as in and used in a way that's like a conjunction. So they crossed the river, for they had seen the enemy in the distance. So I'll give you that example. They crossed the river, and then for they had seen the enemy in the distance. So if we were going to actually translate that for part, we would again translate it as, we would start with hostes, hostes anim, and then you'd say, in the distance, etc. So, but the anim has to come second in that sentence. Okay, and I believe that's pretty much it for this lesson. Work on your exercises, do your corrections. We will be having a quiz later this week that you will take online. If you have special questions on what's going on, you contact me. We'll set up a chat and we'll go over it together. All right, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.